Hello to all the amazing people, TheNeomare here, and welcome to another episode of Citizen Sleeper, a game which is essentially a turn-based game where each turn is like one day. You get a number of dice to use on, various activities like feeding yourself, working some jobs, escaping a corporate entity that turned you into their slave. You can find the full playlist in the comment description below the video. To ease yourself into it through first episode when I was also learning the game. I made a lot of episodes since then, and well, today I decided, hey, let's play this game some more, and well, I jumped in and I got greeted by this. I have no idea what this is, so we're gonna find out together. This is definitely something new. They keep updating the game still, and they announced there's gonna be a sequel to this game, so that's kind of exciting news. So, a drone. A rapid burst of movement catches your attention. A drone, its fins adjusting as it hovers in place, floating in the corridor. Hello? The drone shifts a little but does not respond. The drone buzzes closer and a voice gurgles out of its speaker, distorted and strange. Sleeper, come to the cordon. We need to speak. Who is this? The drone clicks and veers and the recording starts playing again. Sleeper, come to the cordon. We need to speak. Inspect the drone. You move closer and the drone bobs away to a safe distance, but as it does you see the Ha of Heavenage emblazoned on its side. Could this be Fang's drone? Satisfied it has delivered its message, the drone rotates and accelerates away as rapidly as it arrived. You stare at it as it disappears from sight, hoping for some insight that escapes you. To the cordon then. Okay, so I thought this drone is something new they might have introduced to the game, but no, it seems like it's tied to the story. I'm just wondering why it so abruptly show up in the middle of nowhere right after I woke up from sleep, but alright. But anyway, there's a lot of locations as you can see here. We explore them through the story. For example, here you can go and buy some scrap, so let's do that. 16 money for a piece of scrap. It's actually a really good deal, so always whenever the scrap ship comes here, I always go and grab some. Can we go and buy some more? Nope, action unavailable. There's gonna be another ship here bringing some other types of things, but no ship yet. Here on top we can see our energy, well, our hunger meter. We are kind of hungry right now, so we're gonna go and buy ourselves some mushrooms. There we go. Some fungus from our friend Emphis. And once we are nice and fat, we can go to the cordon, which is across this place here. But yeah, it's like a turn-based game, so you can move around the station. It's not gonna waste any time. And you have these 5 dice which you can use to, well, perform various activities. Right now, we are trying to help some of our friends here to, well, break the blockade and save some people from dying. We can see our progress here, actually. So, Briar's Hold. The flotilla needs food, water, and components. You might not be able to get all of them, but Asha will take what you can get. And I actually did manage to get food, water, and components. And there's also a Peak's plan. All the supplies in the world are nothing without a plan to get them to the flotilla. That's Peak's part in this. So, we still need to finish one of these. So I can go and do that. So this one we finished, the tech support. And this one I think we finished, the blind spot. So basically we are sabotaging their sensors. We found some people to escort the ships. And the final one here is called Slice the Thrusters. So we are upgrading the Briar, that's the ship that we are using. And we can use that using this 5 dice here. However, this thing showed up and I have no idea what it is. So I think we should interact with it first. So this like romp-like, square-like things are usually things that require fast attention. So let's click on it. You also level up. This is my level up tree here. I'm an operator. I'm very high leveled up, so things became much easier these days just because of that. Yeah, let's click on it and see what's up with that. As you enter the passage that leads through the cordon, a flash of movement catches your eye. The drone it stops to make sure you've seen it and then fills into a side passage leading to a set of narrow stairs. You climb up through a dark shaft. Oh yeah, it's a, well, narrative-rich game telling a story of people who struggle on this station, space station called the Eye. Well, trying to get the ends meet, suffering under the heavy thumb of corporation criminals and, well, dystopian future. Yep, that's what it is. Dystopian sci-fi future kind of game. Despite its lack of expression, there's something overbearing about the way the drone waits, impatiently realigning its fins in sequence, right? After a long climb, you come out on an observation platform. The cordon and the vast ramshackle refugee ships beyond fill your vision. The scale seems impossible, and immediately you feel small and naive for even thinking you could affect the situation. Something shifts nearby, the drone again. A woman, oh, Helene, that's new. Frustrated Heavenage's Councilor. A woman is standing at the window at the edge of your vision. You aren't surprised you didn't notice her. She too seems impossibly small in the shadow of the flotilla. The drone buzzes by her shoulder and she turns. Sleeper, sorry for all the cloak and dagger nonsense. She nods at the drone. But I have never regretted being cautious. She smiles, a tight smile, and holds out a hand. I'm Helene. Shake her hand. The tight smile holds, but the drone keeps its single eye fixed on you. The effect is a little unnerving. Look. She glances around the empty observation deck as if checking for potential eavesdroppers. Let's be straight with each other. I know about your plans and... She cuts in before you can respond. I understand your motives. You look at her overalls, in her overalls, the yellow markers, the HA sigil. You've been on the eye long enough to recognize a Heavenage member when you see them. You're Heavenage. Yes, I mean, I expect that is obvious. The tight smile again. So Heavenage is like security forces on this station, something like that. I hope you won't hold that against me. So yeah, they're kind of, sometimes they do wrong things, sometimes they do right things, but they should be lawful neutral, I think. She glances around nervously again and moves a little closer. This entire situation, I'm not here to defend it. She glances back at the flotilla. But yeah, in order to protect the eye, the Heavenage made a quarantine here, stopping this thing from docking. The reasons are kind of weak. They're like afraid that there might be like an outbreak of some kind of disease or something, but it's gonna have huge consequences. The people on it will die if it's not resolved. So we're working with some people to help them, like break in, basically. So we're working against Heavenage, really, and now we are contracted by this Helene here, contacted. And let's see what she has to say. This entire situation, I'm not here to defend it. She glances back at the flotilla. No one is happy about this. Release the flotilla, especially not the refugees, okay? I'm gonna stay silent here, just keep her talking. She pauses. Sleeper, tell me something. What does Heavenage mean to you? Hard and first, a work in progress, a fresh start. I'm gonna say work in progress, that's how I feel. Something that needs to improve, but in general might be a good thing in the end. She smiles. Fair, I think. Heavenage is used to being criticized in some ways. We invite it. Our members are free to bring up grievances at any meeting, to propose new structures and approaches. She shifts her weight impatiently. As a councilor, it is my duty to listen to them. That is why I was elected by the members. We are an imperfect system, yes, and each councilor, each member, each representative can be flawed and worse. She looks down. But we keep this place running. That is what we do. And the flotilla? She turns and looks out at the clump of fractured ships. The flotilla is a problem. Can the eye take in thousands of refugees safely? I don't know. This place is ruined, Sleeper. What do you think the council discusses? The price of Giro? We make plans to keep this place spinning, to keep life support working, to ensure... Helene's slate chirps and a grim look passes across her face as she sees the notification. She looks tired, the screen light casting her rigid expression in a pale glow. Sleeper, I didn't bring you here to explain how Heavenage works. I came to talk about your plan to cross the cordon, breach the quarantine and supply the flotilla. She looks directly at you. How do you know? She glances at the drone. I make it my job to know what happens here. I know you think you're helping the flotilla, but you cannot do this. Right now, halfway along the ring, one of the countless series of debates are being held. These debates are to evaluate the potential harm that could be caused if the refugees of the flotilla are left to enter the station. These debates are at a standstill. Helene walks to the window. Too many in the Heavenage Council think of the flotilla as a threat. After recent events, a hardline group has emerged. Protective, selfish. They seek only to benefit the members. In their mind, the flotilla is a danger to life on the eye. If you're caught crossing the cordon and breaching the quarantine, it will only strengthen the hardline councilor's case. Criminals who stole a ship from XPR undermining the security of the station? She shakes her head. It's exactly what they want. Okay. The refugees need supplies, though. They do. And that's exactly what I want to give them. But unless the quarantine is lifted through a fair process, they will never get them. She sighs deeply. And those ex-XPR spacers you're running with, Sleeper, do you know anything about them? Well, no, that's true. Why do you think the refugee flotilla came here now? Something is happening in the system. Something is pushing people out of colonies and outposts that have survived since Holheim collapse. We need to be ready for whatever is coming, ready to protect the Eye. I know the Eye means something to you. I know there's a reason you're still here. Help me protect it. Helene fixes you with a strong look. Persuade those Spacer that this is the wrong move, that they will get caught and the flotilla will be locked down, that Heavenage will be delivered into those with the worst instincts. Forget this suicidal supply run with the people you barely know. Help me fight for the Eye. Stay silent. Helene looks at you, hoping for some kind of response. Don't offer up the excuse the hardliners need to lock the flotilla out altogether, to persuade the members they are the safest pair of hands. She looks at you imploringly. Please. You look back at her and the flotilla behind and sense a desperation in her plea. A notification breaks the silence. Shit. She rapidly scrolls through pages of data. Sleeper, I need to go. She looks torn. Think about this, please. Talk to the Spacers, help them see reason. And she quickly leaves the observation deck before you have time to respond. You stay for a moment, watching the lights of the tugs in the flotilla, and wonder what it feels like to be one of those ships, so close to destination and yet so far from it. And then you think of the Heavenage Council chamber across the Eye, where the right of these people to find safety is being debated. You shiver and then you go, and then you two are gone, back into the stairwell and the cold dark below. So, last couple of episodes I was working super hard to help Peak and Ash bring food and water and supplies to the flotilla here. And I worked really hard not to raise Heavenage suspicion here or here. And I got so close to finishing it with 3 days only left to do. My job is almost done, and now the game comes and tells me that's a really bad idea. And I kind of do understand why. But what can I even do? Like, I don't know if I actually have any actions available. I don't have actions to interact with Esche and Peak here to, like, dissuade them from their plan. Let's go and see some things. Okay, let's gather scrap action. Let's see if there's like any new actions here in the meantime. I don't see them right now, not yet anyway. Let's see, let's go up here. Nothing. Tracking Yatagan. So these are Heavenage offices if I'm not mistaken, but yeah. But we don't have any actions there. So from what I can tell, I need to finish the task first and then we'll be able to debate it. So let's do that. So if you put like a big dice in, then you increase the number of... So for example, if I put a small dice in, I have a very good chance of failing. And there are some very negative consequences they could be. And then if you put a very good dice in, and for example, if you can turn your dice into a 6, and you do that by applying bonus to it from your skills automatically, then you get a positive result. Okay, now we're gonna get contacted by Peak, and he's not gonna like what we have to tell him. Peak grins as you pile the iron thruster sets onto the motorized trolley in a derelict loading bay. I borrowed this from Ash. I barely know how it works. They seem giddy at the idea of stealing the ship parts from Heavenage. I thought you worked for XPR. I did, but not as a repair tech. They help you heave the thruster into position. My specialty was computer systems. I mostly work on keeping the protocols that ran the refueling platforms from totally decaying due to lack of use. There's a lot of platforms in orbit of the moon Hawthorne is on and Cinder itself. Ash and I ended up having to head out to them regularly to work on them. Sounds like hard work. Are you kidding? Pig smiles. That was the best job at Hawthorne. You get assigned a ship, you get to leave the colony for a bit. So much better than outpost maintenance or canteen work. The only reason we got assigned it was that Ash's mother is the administrator of Hawthorne, and Ash managed to get my name on the list too. Pig looks for the trolley's ignition. Ash is always saving me. They find the switch and hit it, and the trolley starts winning. Pig looks at the thrusters. Ash will install this. The Briar is her baby, really. Pig looked towards the bay exit. Truth be told, I was surprised she could bring herself to take it from her mother. Losing a ship, that has to have hurt the colony. What is her mother like? Tough. You have to be to keep control of a services outpost with no services to provide. Pig looks away. It's a tough place overall, Hawthorne. And Ash's mom, she likes it that way. Pig shuffles the trolley out of the bay into the corridor. They'll manage without the Briar. No choice, Pig smiles. And I have to admit, I'd love to have seen her face when she saw we had gone. Pig pauses. Don't tell Asha that. They walk on quietly, lost in their memories of Hawthorne. Okay, I think I can manage the rest. Pig brushes their hair out of their face. You've done more than enough this cycle. Pig looks over the thrusters. Once these are fitted, the Briar will handle better than ever. You might even get a thank you from Ash. Pig laughs. They head off into the corridor, the trolley winning its high-pitched whine. See you soon! Right. So if we finish the Pig's plan, we finish the Briar's hold. And I don't see any other action to do here. So I think we are done. We can deflect suspicion, no need though, because it's already deflected. Nothing to do here, I think. Nope. Here we can go and self-repair and sleep. Here we can gather some scrap. Not really what I want to... Oh, no, actually. What is this? Gather scrap. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, here we can harvest mushrooms that we planted. So I guess I could do that. And here we can go and gather some more mushroom seeds. But I have a decent amount of spores. So that's fine. Here you can buy food, work. There's a lot of work on this station that I unlocked. I'm gonna double check once more that no task. I think I need to go to sleep and then the story will progress really. Bliss's Bay. Here we can work for Bliss. This is a good contract job we unlocked. Jimba Lounge. Okay. Okay. Custard table. Okay. This is where we usually sleep. Also, here we go and feed the kitty cats. Feed the stray. I spent so much money feeding those. Oh boy. Okay, Tavla room. This is probably the most the activity which gives you most money. 24 per dice. It's like a huge amount. Okay. Sell components, play the exchange. This must be the second best one. Okay, we already went there. Here we have a friend at the bar. We can also we can cook some food here. And yeah, work a shift if you wanted to. This is our first home we had, and this is the Heavenage offices. Okay, here we can sell yet again data for some cash. This is like my main source of income, selling these. Okay, doesn't seem like there's anything else to do. Okay, so I'm gonna go and we're gonna play with our garden a little bit here. So we're gonna go and I'm gonna harvest some mushrooms. Okay, we got one reroll every day, which we can use to make dice better. Well, try to make the dice better. Now this third one, what happens if you fail? I don't know, we'll see. I got a positive outcome, so I guess we'll not find out. And we're gonna go and plant some more. And there we go. And then we're gonna go to sleep. And then we're gonna see what the next day brings here. It's gonna be a hard decision, I think, that the game's gonna throw in our direction. And I like to sleep in my old apartment rather than next to those XPR people who are, well, planning something bad. We actually found some explosives on their ship, so yeah. Gonna feed the strays. Okay, I'm gonna use one scrap here to repair. We need to keep our body repaired, otherwise we get less dice per day. I'm gonna end the cycle. Bam. Yeah, there we go. Sleeper, Peak is waiting for you when you leave, but they look different, pale, drawn out. You need to come to the Briar. Now, they don't meet your eye. They don't meet your eye. What happened? Not here, Peak hisses. Come to the ship. We'll be waiting, Peak walks away. Don't take long. And with that, they disappear around the corner, leaving you anxious and confused. Right, so something happened. So, even though we tried our best to avoid Heavenage suspicion, the Councilor knows about us at least. So yeah, this is the red glow, another one of these. We have to interact with that before we can do anything else probably. As you walk into the climbing briar's cavernous bay, now filled with crates and containers, Ash is waiting for you. In front of her, sliced open with its inside scattered across the top of the heavy-duty crate, is an object you recognize, Helene's drone. You freeze. Come in quick. Peak nudges you into the bay, looking behind you before sealing the entryway. We have to start being careful. You move closer to the container, your eyes on the drone's plate out in pieces, some parts of it hooked up to a slate that Peak picks up and begins tapping away at. Ash looks up from the dissection. We caught it buzzing around nearby, heading for the ship. She leans over and taps the HA sigil on one of the removed pieces of plating. It's Heavenage spy! We think we got it before it sent data back, but we can't be sure. Peak looks at you nervously. Well, I think we need to tell them that, well, they know everything. Ash cuts in. Have you noticed anyone watching you? Any drones like this? Anyone following you up to the Briar? We can lie here. Interesting. No, I'm gonna fess up. I've seen this drone. Following you? I met its owner. Ash pauses for a while, Peak looking between the two of you. Explain, Sleeper, Ash says quietly. Tell them about Helene. You explain that you met with Helene at the cordon, and you tell Ash and Peak about what she told you. That the Heavenage Council are debating lifting the quarantine, but they are blocked by the hardliners. You speak faster and faster, but before you can finish, Ash walks away in anger, then comes back again, her eyes burning. What is this, Sleeper? Have you understood nothing from what we told you? She paces in front of you. Well, they knew everything already, Ash. What do you want me to do? Heavenage are not your friends. They are administrators, which means they are not interested only in their own power, their own survival, their own causes. They divide people as easily as sorting livestock. The greater good of their work demands it. The wider project of the station, the colony, the nation. Her eyes are wide as she speaks, her anger barely contained. She wants to help. I didn't have a choice. Well, I didn't have a choice, that's true. Okay, I don't think she's gonna go react well to she wants to help, so let's go with this. I didn't have a choice. Pig cuts in. Listen to them, please, Ash. They're with us. Pig glances between you two. What was the Sleeper supposed to do? They were ambushed by this Helene. I'm gonna stay silent. Let me tell you something, Sleeper, Ash says, her rage hardening into pain. When people become administrators, they give up something. Well, her mother became administrator. Some part of being human, being an equal among others, goes away. They start talking about the greater good, the systems, the ways in which their hands are tied, or their process compromised. I don't agree with this. So, I actually volunteer at a board gaming place. And yeah, I've been there for like 3-4 years. Basically what I do is like I I have the keys, and then every Wednesday I go and I unlock the place. We have visitors which come, and we have like very minimal admission fee, where for €2 people can play board games whole evening. We have like 500 games. It's a pretty nice and chill place. We rent it from the city because we're a non-profit. We get like very good price for it. And yeah, I got involved in administration of the whole thing. Like we have like a dozen people who run the organization for like how should I say, for promotion of board games in my country, well, city and the country. And we do a lot of administration. Like the longer you are in the organization, the more and more you get involved with it. And like I'm actually one of 6 or 7 people who like make decisions for the whole organization. And yeah, and like it's a lot of financial decisions, and like what we spend our money on, and how we deal with like problems, like from simple ones, like if people come to the place and they didn't really shower for a couple of days and they stink, to more complicated ones, like problem with moist, and like the place is like really old, like 40 years or something, so we need to renovate it a little bit, like that. And well, I feel as human as I was. Well, obviously I would say that, right? But like I made it like my mission to always think about the people. So the people who are always on the first place for me are actually like the volunteers, like what I started as, people who and of course the players, always the players, but volunteers, people who unlock the place and help the others learn the games and show them, and make sure we have everything we need, like, you know, turn on the lights and lock, unlock, and manage supplies, toilet paper, like simple stuff like that. And it really does like add up. And I always worked hard for the volunteers to be as how should I say it, independent as possible, that we don't complicate their lives, because everyone's like working there for free. We don't get any compensation. So it was always important for me that well, the operating layer, where the things are happening, where the people come and play, and where the volunteers like help them out, and that this thing is like running. And like, of course, the other things are also important, like financial stuff and making sure we have enough money to keep the lights on, and that's all very important. And like the vision of the future, and if you're gonna have like another place we're gonna play in the future, or if you're gonna renovate this one, and like, I don't know, stuff like that. That's really important. But I was always kept being focused on like the actual players, the actual volunteers, the actual people that that are there. And you know, and some people, like the others I worked with, sometimes get get tired of this zealous approach that I have, a vigilant approach, and like I would block something that would seem too administrative, like whatever I feel like would dehumanize us too much from the players. And like when people start to talk abstractly about our organization, of our vision and a grandeur and what we could become, and like about concepts, about like, I don't know, like I almost feel like they're feeding their egos and want us to be something very big and abstract and successful. And what I really care about is for the people who come there, play and have fun, really. So I really try to keep myself grounded. So this is not necessarily true. Yeah, sorry about the rant, but like I really can't agree with this. Some part of being human, being an equal among others, goes away. It's only like that if you let it happen. I mean, it's easy to let it happen. It's easy to start looking at people, at players, just like numbers, like how many visitors did we have this week, how many admissions we got, how much money we earned, how much do we have left over after we pay the bills, how many games should we get. Yeah, it's okay. Like we need this kind of data, but it's like it's important to keep in mind why we are there, and sometimes people forget, and I'm the one who reminds them. So yeah, I think it depends on person, and I really hope that Ash and Helene can work together here. I respect that Helene came to us and pleaded, even though she could have shut down the whole operation. She pleaded because it seems like she wants this to be resolved in a positive manner, and I believe that there are some selfish people out there, people that Ashe hates for a good reason, the hardliners as Helene called them, and yeah, let's see how we resolve this. They start talking about the greater good, the systems, the ways in which their hands are tied or their process is compromised, so yeah, I can understand, but surely we can figure this one out, yeah? Yeah, there we go, her mother, of course. I knew we were coming to this. My mother was the administrator of Hawthorne, and I have seen what it did to her. That noble higher calling, it is toxic. It is a bit toxic, especially when you have to deal with, well, toxic people who don't, in my opinion, there are always people who don't have their heart in the right place, and it's hard, but you need to stay brave and vigilant. People should never have the chance to decide the fate of others. That's kind of true, but without some kind of hierarchy, like, how would society even work? So, in a way, I agree that people should not have the chance to decide the fate of others, but some people should, like, hopefully people who are more resourceful, people who are more intelligent, people who are more compassionate, people who have the right talent, skills, and the state of mind should be the ones influencing how the things will be happening, hopefully for the good of everyone, right? Okay, let's not go into politics now, but and those that do so at a cost to their humanity. That last part, I don't know if that's true. I think you can stay human while being an administrator. Peak tries to cut in, but Ash holds up a hand. Don't start, Peak. Don't ask me to be reasonable or calm down. Thousands of people are desperate out there. Being reasonable will only prolong their suffering. Right. So, I'm gonna have to side with Helene here, because, like, in a vacuum, like, if no one interfered, if we were on our own, a stubborn XPR spacer. So if we were on our own, and if there were, like, lives at stake, thousands of lives at stake, I would be helping Ash and Peak to break the cordon and to feed the people, to give them water. I think that was kind of a desperate situation with calls for a desperate answer. But I think that's no longer the case. I think Helene, as a Councilor of Heavenage, has enough resources to shut this whole operation down. She decided not to do it, so I think she deserves a benefit of a doubt here, and that we can try to resolve this thing peacefully. And yeah, and on the other hand, well, yeah, you arrived here uninvited, Ash, Peak, and the whole, and there is a argument to be made that you can't just expect us to accept you all without second guessing what that's gonna mean for the station, which does have limited capacities of food production, air and water production. So compromise is needed. That's what I'm trying to say here, and I don't think it's a good idea to use those explosives we found in there, which we don't even know what they're for. So Helene can help. And whatever happens, happens. This seems like the most important answer here so far. Ash turns away. I'm done with this. You're risking this entire supply run just for being here. She walks back into the bay and starts checking the straps on the crates. I go out next cycle. We don't need you anymore. Get out. Peak, please. Peak, please interfere now. Help me out here. Sleeper, Peak looks torn. You have to understand. This is personal for Ash. Well, I know. Peak looks away then at Ash. I don't know, Sleeper. I just don't know what to do. Well, you know what's the right thing to do, Peak. You glance around the Bay of Briar, the wall seeming closer every second. This whole thing is closing in on you, and the question is, where do you want to be when it all collapses? You look at Peak. And what do you think, Sleeper? Peak rubs their forehead. Should we do this thing or not? No, I don't think so. Well, I don't know actually. I need more information. I don't know. Pick notes. Me neither. They look at Ash. But you see her? She knows. And she saved my life. So I'm going to say we do it. They squeeze your shoulder. Onward. Well... Also, I'm not sure if this game is on rails or do our answers really matter. Sometimes the game gives you an illusion of choice while you never really had any. So there are definitely some parts where you choose in this game. For example, like if you want to win and leave the station or you stay. But even then, I feel like you wrap up like a victory condition, you get credits rolling, then you stay on the station, continue playing. They slip away to help Ash. But that's good. If I feel like I have a choice, even if I don't, then it feels like a good game, you know? I saw some pretty absurd dialogues, dialogue branches, and illusion of choice in the new game from Bethesda. What it is called? Starfield, something like that. And it's pretty bad. Like, I'm not gonna play that game. I think they became decadent. Their games are not what they used to be. They're like working with their old glory for a while now, ever since Fallout 4, I think. They slip away to help Ash, leaving you alone to replay the conversation in your head. A certain kind of grim determination settling in the room. Last chance to prepare. Whew. Right. But we should still have 2 more days. So here we have our plants growing. I'm not getting like anything from Heavenage though. Like Helene, like I have so many good dice. Like I'm a super powerful person. Let me talk to these hardliners. Let us find another way. Yeah, the game's like not giving us the option. So if the game doesn't give me the option to interact with Heavenage, what am I supposed to do? I can't interact in my cyber mode either. So these are like just some people we can hack for money and resources, so nothing special there. Let's go across, see if we can do the interaction there. Yeah, this one's dark. We have like no computer power here. How is this? Nothing. Heavenage hangar. Yeah. Right, so I guess there's nothing else to do but wait 2 days. So I successfully finished all the missions, so that's pretty good. And now we have to wait and see what's gonna happen. And yeah, I guess we're just gonna like gather some scrap and stuff while we are waiting, then feed some kitty cats, all that good stuff. And then next episode we're gonna have some hard decision to make. So yeah, if you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like and subscribe. I wish you all to have a wonderful day, do some nice things, be kind to each other, and let's make the world a better place together. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of Citizen Sleeper. Actually a pretty amazing dystopian game with tactical elements that I'm enjoying a lot here. TheNeomare signing out. Bye bye.